Okay, for 16, it's saying what value of x will make each equation true. Another way of saying this is solve each equation. And I think at this point in the CPM Algebra text, they're expecting that you guess and check these answers. However, in the pre-algebra CC3 or the even CC2 textbooks, you've learned basic solving equations. So I'm going to solve them algebraically, right? So x plus 5 equals 5. So what we're going to do is isolate that variable, that x, and we're going to subtract 5 from both sides. And our properties of equality let us do that. And these cancel, and we get x equals 0, right? For b, we have 2x minus 6 equals 3x plus 1 minus x minus 7. So before we start moving variables or constants from side to side, what I want to do is simplify this side, right? So this side I'm going to leave alone. So I have a 3x and a negative x, right? 3x and negative 1x is 2x. And then I have a positive 1 and a negative 7. And a 1 and a negative 7 is a negative 6, right? Okay, so now we could stop, but let's just keep going for a second. Let's move our two x's around using our properties of equality and see what happens. Right, so I'm going to subtract 2x from both sides, and that cancels, and I'm left with negative 6 equals negative 6. And when you're solving equations and end up with something like, negative 6 equals negative 6, or 8 equals 8, or 100 equals 100, you have to ask yourself, when would negative 6 equal negative 6, right? And negative 6 is always going to equal negative 6. So the answer or the solution to this question is all real numbers, because no matter what value you put into x in this equation, whatever value you put in for x, both sides are going to be the same. The equation will be true. So all real numbers works for that. Okay, now let's do C. We have 3x plus 1 equals 43. I'm going to subtract 1 from both sides, and I'll get 3x equals 42. And then I'll divide both sides by 3, and I will get x equals 14. And the last one, D, I have 4x minus 1 equals 4x plus 7. So let's add 1 to both sides, right? Add 1 to both sides, and I get 4x equals, because these cancel, 4x plus 8. And now I'll subtract 4x from both sides, right? And I get 0 equals 8. And now I have to ask myself, when would 0 equal 8? Well, 0 will never equal 8. So there is no value. What does that mean? That means there's no value you're going to put in for x into this original equation that's going to make both sides equal each other. So the answer to this would be no solution, because there is actually no value you can put into here for x that will make the left-hand side and the right-hand side the same or equal.